Now, as you know, in 1994, in the criminal court, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole, and the Good Samaritan, Ron Goldman. Now, fast forward to 1997, because that's when the civil case began. Nicole Brown's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Simpson. Their lawyer was John Q. Kelly. A jury found Simpson civilly liable for the deaths. They awarded the estates of the two victims $33.5 million. Obviously, there's a higher burden of proof in a criminal case, proof beyond a reasonable doubt, than in a civil case, which is only a preponderance of the evidence. But nonetheless, the criminal case was missing a very important piece of evidence. A picture of O.J. Simpson 9 months before the murder wearing Bruno Magli shoes on the sidelines of a Bills game. The FBI, during their investigation, had found blood footprints at the murder scene of a pair of Bruno Magli shoes, size 12. Simpson's shoe size, but which Simpson denied owning. Simpson even denied ever owning those shoes when he was deposed after the criminal trial and before the civil trial. When asked about the shoes at the civil deposition, Simpson said, quote, that he would never wear those ugly-ass shoes, end quote. Attorney John Q. Kelly joins me. John, nice to talk to you. You were the winning lawyer in the civil case. Tell me, I mean, the shoes to me were such a significant piece of evidence. I assume you agree with me on that.
Of course I do, Greta. And the whole tenor in the courtroom changed that Monday morning after the photos came into evidence. Simpson and his attorneys sort of turned their backs on each other. They knew the end game was there. And, you know, I'm sure Simpson had told his attorneys he'd never had a pair of shoes like that, that photo of him in those shoes would never showed up. And when they did, it was just, you know, the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Why didn't Marcia Clark and Chris Darden use those in the criminal trial?
They didn't have them. The photos had not.
Why didn't they have them?
I don't know. They were in plain sight. They were right in the Bills bulletin. They had done a special edition honoring Simpson for his 2,000-yard season. The photos had been used in the bulletin. There were another 32 that hadn't been developed yet by E.J. Flammer, the photographer, and lo and behold, there they were.
What was it like for the family of Nicole Brown Simpson? I mean, we so often talk about the people who did something terrible, but the family, I mean, it's hard to sort of quantify the pain, but what was it like for them during the civil trial?
It was tough. I mean, they had the additional burden, not just the grief and the loss they had to deal with, but they had to sort of keep chins up and protect the two children, Sydney and Justin. I mean, they were their caretakers. The kids were living with the Browns. The Browns had to protect them from the drama and circus swirling around them, and they did a great job of it. So, you know, they couldn't really mourn or you know, wear their solemn faces around the kids. They had to give a sense of normalcy for their everyday life.
And so then, of course, then when you get the verdict against the father, the children that the family is taking care of, and because of the parents, I mean, it must be, stunning. I mean, how complex that is for the family to deal with.
Well, it was. I mean, on the one hand, during the civil case, we had the Sydney and Justin were the actual part of the estate that was bringing the action against O.J. And at the same time, we were waging a custody battle where Simpson wanted to get custody of the children back. So, you know, on the one hand, the children are being tugged and pushed and, you know, adverse to their father in the wrongful death case. On the other hand, you know, they wanted to see their father again. Their father wanted them back, at least superficially, for public purposes. So it was just sort of a lot of different current in different directions at the same time.
What was it like deposing him in advance of the civil trial? Because he gets deposition in a civil case.
He was just totally programmed. I mean, he's focused. He, you know, I'm sure he thought things through 100 times. And I think in his own mind, he had convinced himself he did not convince these murderers. You know, he was just.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because after the criminal case, and I was in his home in Rockingham in anticipation of an interview with him, listening to him, it's like he'd convinced himself that he hadn't done it. Like, where did these gloves come from? Where did this blood come from? I mean, it was stunning, sitting there and talking to him.
Well, I think, he had drank the Kool-Aid of his defense team that, everything was framed, everything was, plotted against him, everything was, it was LA cops, the white LA cops, trying to bring another black man down, and he was innocent all along, and, the jury proved it.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
Thanks, Greta.